publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. And of course, good morning to the entire United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of the internet, formerly known as the ARPANET, created by we the people, now pretty much owned by they, the small number of billionaires trying to use it to control our minds, trying to use it to subliminally make us hate each other so that they can stay in power, but we won't allow it. Anyway, folks, this has been an eventful weekend, or former week and weekend. A lot to talk about. But beforehand, let's go on to the geniuses in the studio.
Yeah, well, good morning. Well, Stanley, this is another fine mess you've got me into.
Man, it's Monday. It's a morning mess.
Yes, it is. Good morning, Egberto. It is Monday, the 3rd of March, 2025. It is Monday morning at the radio, and I have no rants, but I have a lot of thanks for the folks who came out to visit us on Saturday during the Deadbeat Live remote broadcast over at Cactus Records and Tapes and CDs. So thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate that and all the love that we felt over there. So that was pretty nice. And I think our interim general manager here is on the line. Good morning, Sandy. Are you there?
Good morning, Howard. I hope I'm on the line.
Yes, you are. 10 cans of string have held up.
And I tell you what, there's extra string this morning. I think it wraps around twice. It's Monday, as you said. It is March 3rd, as you said. And it is the final week of our February-March fund drive. I always like that when we get to the final days of a drive. And, we can see the end in sight, at least the end of the time we will be asking. We're still, fair bit from our goal. 684 donations have summed $117,858, and we're looking for 170,000 total. So we have some work to do over the course of the week, but I think we are in a position to make our goal. But it starts with each and every one of you out there, especially those that have not yet called up or clicked the donate button at kpft.org and supplied the amount that you can. And in some cases, we understand that is zero. Some people are not able to donate anything to anybody. They need the money to survive right now. And I think Egberto is probably going to be talking a little bit about current conditions in America where it comes to paychecks, but we'll get to that. Anyway, while you're thinking about all that, for those of you that can and have not yet pledged, our number is 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org, and you click the donate button. Lots of thank you gifts we'll be talking about over the course of this broadcast, course of the day, but the biggest thank you is having Free Speech Radio, where we can have Politics Done Right and other programming that would not be anywhere but for KPFT. Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Good morning. And hey, before we get started, we need that word of wisdom. Who can not want to hear that husky voice from that guy that many women think are the sex symbol from KPFT?
He is.
Oh, man, I just have a southern accent. I can't shake it. Can't shake it, so I won't. Okay, well, good morning, Egberto. How are you?
I am fine. Talk to me, my brother.
Right. Trump promised to protect Social Security. Looks like he lied again. This affects MAGA seniors just as much as it affects all seniors. The seniors that in good faith paid into Social Security all those years, now they throw all those seniors into a panic over the possibility of losing those benefits. This is just wrong. Trump did this as a gift to corporate desires not to have to match the Social Security payment. How's that for a backdoor tax break?
Well, I think he's probably, financing Putin over there in Putin's war against the Ukraine.
It is a shame. It is a shame. I mean, thanks for starting there, Jack. I was going to start with my blog, but I think you made me want to start with Social Security because I think that is important for people to kind of grasp at. Um, Look,
It sure affects my world.
there
Mine
you go.
too.
Yeah, it affects it. Look, ultimately, it affects everybody's world because even if you're not a Social Security recipient, that we have people that receive Social Security keeps the fire going in the economy. If we didn't have the billions that are thrown into Social Security every year, that would that much reduce our economic activity. But nobody teaches that in business school. They just talk about cuts, cuts, cuts. Anyway, uh, Bloodbath is the article. Bloodbath. Social Security Administration begins mass firing. Um, I'm gonna go into this first, and then I'm gonna go into a rationale that a lot of folks I don't hear the direction people talking on the talking heads on TV. I don't think they understand exactly what's going on here, and with all the slash and burning across government agencies. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But to start, it goes like this. The Social Security Administration, now under the control of an official installed by the US President Donald Trump, began the process of gutting whole segments of the agency and firing a huge portion of its already diminished workforce, sparking alarms among advocates who say the move will almost certainly result in benefit delays and disruptions, which is what they want. The American Prospect, which has first reported earlier this week that acting SSA, Social Security Administration Commissioner Leland Dudek, was weighing staff cuts of up to 50%, obtained an email sent late Thursday indicating that the department has launched an agency wide organizational restructuring that will include significant workforce reductions. The email gives employees until March 14th. All of these things are happening at lightning speed, folks. They want all of this to happen before you guys raise hell so that it all will be written, signed, sealed, and delivered so that even if you raise hell, hey, it's already done. So I want you to listen to me carefully, my brothers and sisters. The email gives employees until March 14th to decide among a number of options the prospect reported. They can seek voluntary reassignment or separate from federal service through retirement or resignation. All employees at least 50 years of age and at least 20 years of service are being offered an early out voluntary early retirement that's lower than the typical benchmarks for federal employees. Early retirees are typically eligible for an annuity. In addition, between now and March 14, employees can take voluntary separation incentive payments of up to $25,000 depending on job classification. Employees are also encouraged in the email to resign and take the payout of their annual leave, the outlet adds. Look, all these things are there to give these employees a great incentive. If you know you have a wacko, a crazy man, an unethical, immoral person that's leading this government, and you can get a huge pay. That means a lot of people are going to be walking out with $50,000, $100,000, up front. Maybe they can last a few months on that money, some few years on that money, and say, you know what? I am not going to work with this Walker. I'll take my chances, get that lump sum up front, and go find a job elsewhere. I can come back to work for the federal government after he's gone, and when the destruction is over, I can be a part of the rebuilding process. A lot of people are going to think that way. Take that cash up front. If I were a federal employee right now, and if I don't see the grassroots, if I don't see people starting to raise hell with their Congress people to prevent them from allowing this thug to do these things, I would take the offer. Because unless the grassroots stand up, and some of them have started to do it, a lot of these Republican Congress people, when they go to their town halls, it looked just like the Tea Party days, but in reverse. But we need a lot more. If if we are going to stop the implosion of the United States governmental agencies, a lot more has to get done. Trump has pledged that Social Security will not be touched. But the progressive advocacy group Social Security Works, who I've interviewed the chairman of that group several times here on KPFT, on Politics Done Right, both in office and at Netroots Nation, they argue that the SSA has only one goal: the total annihilation of Social Security by firing half the workforce and closing field offices. Wall Street billionaires want to destroy Social Security so they can give themselves trillions in tax handouts. Remember, Social Security costs their business 7 point something percent of everybody's earnings, right? That the portion they have to pay. So if they can reduce or eliminate Social Security, that's a huge implicit income stream that they've just generated. I don't like to call it tax break in this case, an income stream. Money is not paid into the treasury. Monies that ultimately we will borrow back from them and pay them to loan us the money they didn't pay us. Wow, that's a cool gig if you can get it. This is what Social Security Works said. The ongoing bloodbath at Social Security Administration has only one goal: the total annihilation of Social Security by firing half of the workforce and closing the field offices. The Prospect reported that while the email sent to SSA staff on Thursday does state that some employees may be reassigned from so-called non-mission critical positions to direct service positions at field offices and processing centers, it would be difficult to achieve large-scale reductions in force without impacting staff in more than 1,200 field offices across the country. I don't know, but when I'm driving down 59 and I look over, if I'm coming to the left, I look over and I see that Social Security office, that big sign. In that morning, that line is humongously long, and getting in there, there are probably, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 people at windows, and that line just keeps going. Think about it. You're an older people who are dependent on Social Security are generally older, generally, and for those and some disabled. Now you're having less workers out there having to spend these older folks spending all this time waiting for access. And likely, if you lose half the people and you see those lines that usually end by the end of the day, that means at that time you're going to get an unfulfilled queue, which means it goes to the next day, which summarizes to a larger unfulfilled queue every day. I'll talk to you what they're really trying to do here in a minute, folks. All right. ProPublica reported over the weekend that Doge staffers' first wave of actions at SSA, including the elimination of dozens of jobs and shuttering of local offices, was largely lost in the rush of headlines. Those first steps might seem restrained compared with the mass firing that Doge has pursued at other agencies to investigate outlets noted, but Social Security recipients rely on in-person service in all 50 states, and the shuttering of offices reported on Doge's website to include locations everywhere from rural West Virginia to Las Vegas could be hugely consequential. The closures potentially reduce access to Social Security for some of the most vulnerable people in this country, including not just retirees, but also individuals with severe physical and intellectual disabilities. Folks, the implosion of government that is being attempted by the thugs in the White House and their dependents, meaning brother uh, Musk and his band of his bands of, what do you call those people? 21-year-olds, 19-year-old hackers. This is serious business. But here's what they want to do. Uh, GOP likes to run on the tenet that government is the problem. Government is the problem. I want you to first internalize that statement before anything else. Government is the problem. Who is the government? Government is we, the people. Uh, Abstraction, folks. If government is the problem and government is we, the people, that means you are the problem. I want you to understand that the attack is not on government. The attack is ultimately on you, no matter what they say. And they may say, oh, no, we're talking about those government workers who it's a hard time to get them to lose their job, who gets too much pay anyway. Well, no, they don't get too much pay. The private sector don't pay enough to the workers. You know, executives and managers do well, but the workers don't get paid. The workers should pretty much get paid similarly to what government pays people. But what they're saying is government is a problem. You are the problem. They want you to know that. And above and beyond, when they are done crucifying the government, the idea is they monetize everything, people. When they put all of this into law, which is what they want to do, they can only get it into law if you allow it. If you don't go to your congressperson and let them know, pass this bill and you are out of a job. If they don't know that and they pass the bill, then government cracks. And then people start to complain. They don't mind that, because at that point, you know what they're going to do? Trump and Musk are going to go to their friends, and like they've already started, hey, the FAA is messed up. So Musk brings in his own company to fix the FAA, which is something he screwed up. He screwed it up by saying, hey, I'm laying off a lot of FAA people. I'm going to get rid of the Verizon contract that is currently currently working on fixing a lot of stuff at the FAA. Okay, now I'll bring in a Musk company, which they've started to do, to fix the FAA. When they lay off 50% of the Social Security people and they realize that, wait a minute, 50% of the people laid off mean all those older folks are going to be out there in long lines. And then when they feel the pain, if and only, not if, when they feel the pain, that's when a lot of people react. Remember what I've said over and over and again. Their goal, the reason we ban books, the reason we don't want people to do critical thinking, is we don't want people to have the ability to think of what happens if we do this, what happens if we do that, what happens if we do the other. They don't want you critically thinking. They want to execute, because they know that our older folks are going to be pissed off when they can't go to a Social Security office. And then they're going to come to the rescue. And what is that rescue? That isn't the rescue of rehiring government people. That is the office of now privatization. So instead of a government worker coming into Social Security and having government benefits to take care of our people, they will then hire private agencies that are deputized in the Social Security system, paid much lower wages with no governmental benefits to serve you. You see, that's the ultimate goal, the privatization of government. reduction in the what government workers pay, reduction in the total output of salaries, and who benefits? The taxpayers that, or rather, the rich people who don't want to pay their taxpayer share of running our government. You see, critical thinking. They don't want you to do it. You are not, they are making the bet that when we start to tell you that these governmental cuts are going to affect you, that you don't see them right away, so you don't react. But when you start to see them and you react, you know what you've done? You've created another income stream for them to rip you off. And how do they rip you off? They hire their friends who own employment agencies. They hire their friends who own customer service agencies. They hire their friends. And instead of all of this being done in-house by the government, it's now being done for profit. So now your tax dollars go to a private company who pays people substandard wages and give them little benefits, and then they take care of you, grandma, grandpa. You see, that's the end game. The end game is more privatization, and privatization means the expense of profits to shareholders who are friendly to the organization called the United States of Trump and Musk. I want you guys to think about how you're being pilfered. And MAGA, you're the ones that are going to be, in the short term, you're the ones that are going to feel the heavy pain. The Social Security offices in West Virginia, Alabama, Louisiana, think about that. These are the people who most use governmental services. The MAGA base. In fact, you heard what I played for you last week when the God of MAGA came out and he said Trump is going to have to be careful because a lot of MAGA folks are on Social Security. A lot of MAGA folks are on Medicaid. And if those places are closing down or have poor access, it's MAGA folks who going to feel the pain. MAGA folks who will feel the pain. So, folks, all I'm trying to do is have your eyes wide open. And to the relatives of friends who are MAGA, because over the weekend, I went to a couple of functions, and in one of them, I heard one of the guys says, I have my entire family is MAGA, and I try to explain I tell him, hey, how you think about how your boy doing right now? And all they were saying is, oh, he's doing a great job. This is what at one of the functions I went over the weekend. This is what one of our brothers said. He said, man, my entire family, meaning his brothers, etc., are MAGA, and they just think Trump is doing an exceptional job. And they're talking and they're saying, oh man, Egberto, that's what. So this is the message I have for you. Listen, they're not going to necessarily listen to an Egberto or any one of us doing all this blogging, writing, and videos and TikToks and all these things. They're not going to listen to us. We're preaching to the choir, but you have more influence on them, which is what I told one of my friends. I'm like, the thing is, you can't come here and feel safe. You can't just hang with us that you know are doing the right thing and feel safe. And as much as they vote differently than you do, they love you. You are their brother. What you have to do is point to them. When you see grandma having an issue with her Social Security, tell grandma or grandpa or my big brother on Social Security, hey, that is gonna be more difficult for you to do, and here is why. And explain to him from the things that we talk about. Explain to her from the things that we talk about. Activate them. They will listen. But again, a lot of folks that are MAGA adjacent, their friends, not MAGA adjacent, but that their families or folks or friends, they just throw their hands up in the air. I've gone to meetings, Democratic meetings, where people say, I can't talk to my family. Well, who the hell else is going to do it? Am I going to do it? You got to. I talk to everybody, but you have more. I have to get over who I am first before I can get them to listen to me. You have one shoe in the door already. All of us have to save the country. And the next blog I'm going to go over, I wrote yesterday, I wrote sort of out of frustration after my daughter got back from a function. I'm going to talk about that after, but before I do that, it's pitching time. So I want to ask you kindly, folks. This is, as Sandy reported earlier, we are in our last stretches of the fund drive, and we need you fast. We need you more than ever. And we'd like to ask you to help us continue to do what we do. Whether it is the music that you just love here, we have great music. We have many other stations. Hell, guess what? You know, brother, Howard has a station of great country music. I mean, we have such a plethora of things here, but it only can last, especially in these times of cuts by government, and we don't get any government help if you support us. And right now, I'm at a big donut at this hour, and we are tasked to raise $400 in the hour. We missed it a couple of times. I'd like to raise $600 today. So I'd like to ask you kindly to give a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft.org, kpft.org, hit that donate button. And when you hit that donate button, you give whatever you can. What we're asking for are sustainers, if possible. It's cheap. Can you give $5 a month? That is like less than a coffee that you say, I'm going to buy a friend a coffee. Let's give it in the name of politics done right. Can you do $10 a month? That's what I do. I come here every morning. I do my research every night to get the program going, put a lot of investment in this program. But I also give $10 a month because I believe if I'm asking others to do certain things, I should as well. So I give $10 a month. I'd like to ask you if you can, $15 a month, $20 a month, $25 a month gets you a 4x5 brick that you can put an insignia on it to form a permanent state at our station. $50 a month give you an 8x8 brick that you can put whatever you want in that brick as well. So, folks, I'm at a zero. I'd like for you. Sandy's going to come on in a minute. We need a couple of pitches to do it, so you can do it right now, so that I can thank you. By the time Sandy is done, you're done giving your pledge, and man, we can start saying thank you, thank you, thank you. But we can't do this without you. So I'm going to kindly pass it on to our interim general manager, El Señor Sandy Wyman.
Thank you, Egberto, and thanks to all you folks listening and have already donated. And a big shout out to Bruce, who listens to this program, Egberto. He stopped by Cactus yesterday and threw a bill in the tip jar, and we really appreciate that. And that's one of those folks that, disruption in service to Social Security, it would be tragic, and you are correct. This is going to impact everybody. A rotten thing to do. What's not a rotten thing to do is to support free speech, First Amendment radio. That's us, where your friends and neighbors power the microphone, not what is directed by corporate. There is no corporate at Pacifica except for about 4 or 5 people that keep us on track with audits and make sure that the FCC stuff is up to date, etc. We need those people very badly to keep everything together. And we get out on the cheap. We just pay one bill once a month and it all gets done like magic. Folks, we have lots of bills that sum over $50,000 a month to keep a 100,000 watt transmitter going, 3 streaming channels, including classic country on HD3, an alternative channel to what you listen to on HD1 is HD2. And pretty soon, there'll be an app available for your phone, your Android or Apple phone, to make things even more accessible where KPFT is concerned. We're in the final stages of development. But right now at 6:30 in the morning, on Monday morning, we are at zero and we're looking for the first pledge. Somebody out there, if you just rattle the phone line or click that donate button and get us off the zero, it feels so good. Especially when we have a modest goal each and every hour. $400 is what we ask for each and every hour during the drive. Egberto is super responsible in taking in the fact that some days we fall short and some days you need a little more. Some days you go over and you feel real good when you fall short the next day. On the balance, we kind of push reset here on the last week. So $400 an hour is what we're looking for each and every hour, each and every program. Self-sustaining, those words are in the second paragraph of the Pacifica mission. Self-sustaining as possible, each station, each program. So each community, AKA each audience, is thought of to supply that power in return for the program on the air and its listenership and the ability to call in, like on this program. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. We do have both general admission seats and reserved gallery seats for the Rodney Crowell Guy Forsyth concert, June 6th at the Heights Theater in celebration of our 55th birthday. $150 for a pair of GAs. The reserved galleries are $180 a pair. All of these may be broken up into monthly amounts, $15 a month for the reserved gallery, for instance. But if all that is too rich for you, we get a little lapel pin for $40 for our 55th anniversary. It's an enamel pin that Rico made up. It's really way cool, in my opinion. And that's a $40 contribution. But whatever it is that you give, know that it goes toward powering KPFT in total. We have one full-time paid employee on our staff, and then we have a lot of volunteers running around making this all happen. Jack is in this morning as he is every morning. Thank you, Jack. Howard is in every morning, every day, making sure that the station is operating in total. Thank you, Howard. And then we have Egberto, who gets up in the morning prepared to come on the air and do a show. Thank you, Egberto. Please acknowledge all this with your donation. Again, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. All new sustaining pledges will be matched with a $10 bill from some of the folks on our local station board. So if you do $5 a month, a $60 annual pledge, it becomes $70, etc. But do chime in. Don't leave us hanging here. Let's see if we can complete the goal without too much yelling and screaming. It's important to all of us. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. And then there's Sandy Wyman, who comes in the morning, helps out with the fund drive, and works as the interim general manager. So I mean, there are thanks to go around everywhere. Then there are the folks who come in and cut the yard, and then there are the folks who volunteer to clean the toilets. There are folks who volunteer to vacuum up the place. We are a family of volunteers, and I want to give a big thank you to Christophel. Thank you so kindly for being our first contributor this morning, folks. We need about 5 more of Chris's to call in right now. I want to give a big thank you again, Christophel. I want to welcome Joe from Los Angeles, California. I want to welcome Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. I want to welcome Jacqueline Campis. That's the first time I've seen you in the chat, Jacqueline. Welcome aboard. And Glenn Ryan, I think we have a Coffee with Egberto schedule, right? I mean, not schedule. We're supposed to be going on one of those. I didn't advertise that one in the last time. I shouldn't say advertise. I didn't say talk about that. Whoa, look at how I'm going to get in trouble. No, I'm behaving myself. Here, look, folks. Uh, as a gimmick to bring funds into our station, I'm saying, hey, have coffee with Egberto, and that contribution, that donation is $250. It doesn't go to me. I swear it all goes, nothing comes to me. It all goes to the station to build us up, to allow us to continue doing this. So welcome aboard, Glenn Ryan, Jacqueline Campsize, Melanie Keelan, Joe, all in the chat. And let's go to the first phone call of the morning, to the one and only, my good friend, Patrick.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Hey, I wanted to address and put Brian's mind at ease. He called Friday with concerns that we didn't have concerns about people in the past losing their jobs in the oil field. I wanted to make sure they understand usually they get laid off when the economy goes bad. So when the economy goes bad again, they're going to get laid off. But what is really happening that you should be concerned about is that we're no longer going to be building wind turbines, which means we can no longer really expand our the potential for our grids, and we're going to be seeing more brownouts and blackouts. And I've done work for both pipeline and for wind turbines. The wind turbine work lasted 2.5 years for about a dozen crew members that were going down to the valley over and over and over. And that type of work is all over the place, Sweetwater and all sorts of things. And something that can keep the pipeline people busy even when there is a recession is we have approximately 20 to 25 years worth of work sealing oil wells that are leaking methane.
Yes.
And nobody's doing anything about it. And that's driving an extinction right now. That's how serious that is. And oil workers are natural to go back in there and to close those up, and we're not doing it. So if we're really concerned about these guys having jobs, we need to write our congressmen and ask them to start providing money and incentives to seal these. That's all.
Patrick, that's interesting because I brought on one of the guys that was running for railroad commissioner, and he was talking about all that work that needs to be done right here in Texas and throughout the country to seal those wells. There's, as you said, over 25 years worth of work to get all that work done. So thanks for bringing that up. Anything else before I continue with the program, sir?
Yeah, there's one other thing that we can be doing with those wells. Some of them will actually work for geothermal, which is another thing that we're for some reason we're out of war with. We won't do anything green.
I mean, that is so smart to remember that. Let me just say, I know the turbines and all of that from government support is going to go down, but here's my thought. Texas is one of the most oil producing states, one of the big ones. And even in a place like Texas, turbine took off. So my gut feeling tells me that even as the support from the federal government for turbines will continue, I can almost guarantee that the private sector are going to continue building them. What do you think, Patrick?
Well, it is. You might be right because it's much cheaper to get energy from coal is 9 cents per kilowatt. To get energy from a wind turbine is 2.3 cents.
There you go.
The coal is very, very expensive. It's outdated. It's a fuel from the 1800s, and this is, our president wants to bring it back, just like everything else from the 1800s.
Anyway, thank you, Patrick. You have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you at 3. Anyway, folks, I want to welcome to the chat Billy Allison Irwin from Summerwood, Texas. I think that's where she's from. I know I'm correct. My mind is working a little bit better these last few days that I've gotten an extra hour of sleep. Anyhow, I want to thank Cesar. Thank you, Cesar, for your contributions. Folks, we need the calls coming in. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute. And go to kpft.org, hit that donate button, select Politics Done Right as a show you're supporting, and then give whatever you can. As we mentioned before, we're asking for those who have the wherewithal to become sustainers. That is $5 a month, $10 a month, $15, whatever you can do on a monthly basis. I am currently supporting KPFT with a $10 a month contribution. The reason I only do 10 is again is because I'm supporting a lot of other progressive organizations as well. And of course I do the show here. We don't get paid, folks. This is all done because we know we must do this. We must do this. My responsibility, I feel, as an American citizen, is to do exactly what I am doing right now. And I want to tell you that you can participate in many ways as well. One, become a contributor if you possibly can. Number two, I don't want to sound presumptuous, but I'm going to. If you have your head screwed on right, talk to the people you think need a bit of a thought. I don't want to say modification, assistance in seeing things the way that they are. Spend that time and talk. Get out of your comfort zone. Don't be scared that for a while they'll dog you. Let me tell you, I talk to a lot of people. I talk, believe it or not, mostly people on the right, mostly people that are MAGA, are most of the people that I talk to in person. And that is because of where I live. And I get along very well. People are people. You just have to find a way to reach people. Please, we got to do it. We got to love on our brothers and sisters. I want to give a big thank you to Robert. Thank you so kindly, Robert, for your kind contribution. Folks, we need to get more of those calls in 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft.org, hit that donate button, select Politics Done Right as the program you're supporting, give whatever you can. I want to get to my other blog, but Brian is on, and I don't want to keep Brian waiting. So, Brian, come on in, my brother.
Yes, good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning, sir.
You, you think you're going to make a goal for today?
I'm going to try, Brian. I mean, maybe if you give a quick pitch for me, we will.
Oh, I always do. I always do. Opposition thinking is an important process of a free society. Whether
There
you
you go.
agree with it or not, whether you agree with it or not, free speech is important. Sometimes free is not free. You have to pay for it, but a little contribution would help.
Thank you, Brian. Now, what did you call me to scold me about today?
Stacey Abrams,
Okay.
you're denying that she received billions of dollars in USAID?
Yes, I'm denying it, and I want to ask you one question now that you presented that. Tell me, which dumb politician would somehow funnel billions is a lot of money, to somebody named Stacey Abrams and think they wouldn't get caught? And why would they do it, and how would she spend it? Please tell me. I just want you to think about the logic, logistics of what you just said. Not just say it. Think about how would that work. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, she did get caught with it, and she
Okay.
would not have if an audit was not done.
Okay.
And how do you spend billions? It's easy. They actually spent millions of dollars on writing a report on how millions of dollars were spent.
Mhm.
It,
Where did she spend that? Where was she spending that money, Brian? Where was she spending that money?
She had 3 days to do it.
Oh, and she spent $2 billion in 3 days?
Yes, that's the amount of time she was given. You
Okay.
can look up the Washington Journal, and
Okay.
it's there in factual writing.
All right. Let me just say, Brian. Brian, thank you for bringing that story. But it's not true, and it just the incredulity of that should. And this is Brian. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to me well. Okay. There are certain things that simply don't make sense, and even just implementation. And I want to ask you, why are you willing to believe that? That's all. Don't answer me now. I got to go to Bruce. Don't answer me now. Just think about it, okay? And then let's talk about it tomorrow. But I got to get some more time in. But thank you for the pitch that you gave for me. And you will always have a voice here, brother. We'll talk later, all right?
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Yeah, good morning. I only have two things. First, you've talked about empathy before. When Trump talks to Zelensky, it would have been okay to have a different view, not to berate somebody like a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum. That was just terrible. And the other thing is talking about coal. I saw a special a few years ago about coal, and it said that even if you increase the amount of coal, with today's heavy machinery and new tactics like blowing the top off of mountains, they were still cutting jobs. It's not like there's zillions of coal jobs out there. I'm done.
Yeah, Bruce, first of all, you went out to, did you enjoy the KPFT event this weekend?
Yes, I enjoyed it very much. I picked up a couple used CDs, and I won't tell you what they are because it kind of shows my age. Well, I will. It was Janis Joplin, Joe Cocker and Janis Joplin. But
I love Joe Cocker. I'm Janis, but I like Joe Cocker, yeah.
You get by with a little help from friends. I played that on the way home.
You are so beautiful. I love it, man. But anyway, Bruce, wait. Bruce. Hold on. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for being a caller. Thank you for being a listener. And thank you for the kind contribution as stated by our brother in the studio, El Senor Sandy Wyman. Okay? Thank you very much for your support of KPFT.
It was kind of a trying thing getting out there because between construction and rodeo traffic, I thought it would take 20 minutes. It took me 50 minutes coming from Oak Springs. But it was worth it, though. But anyway, you have I'm giving you time back for other callers. But
well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Day.
You too now. All right, folks. We only have 3 donors so far. We need a lot more, folks. Give me a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate. Or go to kpft.org, kpft.org. Hit that donate button. Select Politics Done Right as your program and give whatever you can. Can you do $5 a month? Can you do $10 a month? That's what I'm doing. Can you do $15 a month, $20 a month, $25 a month? Get you a 4x8 brick. $50 a month gives you an 8x8 brick, and you will be permanently displayed at KPFT as being one of our great supporters. I want to jump to Sandy in a minute. Folks, we do need to hear from you, so I ask you kindly, as Sandy is pitching, please call now. You won't lose any of the program, I promise you. And even if you lose some of the programs, you can pick it up from the archives as well. So let's go ahead and have Sandy come on in.
Thank you, Egberto, and thanks to Robert and Caesar and Chris and Bruce. Thank you for donating to Politics Done Right and KPFT this morning. We are still about $300 shy of the Egberto stated goal, and we sure could use a few more calls. As Egberto said, we're also over $118,000 at this point. For those of you that like Wilco, the band Wilco, they're going to be at the White Oak Music Hall May 4th, and we have 6 pair of tickets for a $120 pledge. And that's a musical thank you for you. Uncle Lucius is going to be at the St. Joseph's Church in Galveston. We have 2 pair of those for April 20th. We have a precious few, probably less than 5 seats remaining on the R&R Pirate Cruise, April 5th on Clear Lake. That will leave from the South Shore Harbor Marina at around 1 o'clock, and we'll be out for 3 hours with Ronnie and Tom providing the entertainment. This will be a fully catered experience, food and beverage, some adult beverages included, also soft drinks like iced tea, and soft drinks like Coca-Cola, etc. will be available. We did this with Nuri. It was a whole lot of fun, and I suspect this one will be just as much fun. Eye patches have been purchased by Tom Richards, so we can all wear them and go, "Arr, Pirate Cruise." A lot of fun. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. We're scrambling at 4504 Caroline to keep this place going, keep KPFT humming at 100,000 watts. We're scrambling. Grant money, forget about it. It's just so difficult, especially in this environment, to expect anything to come along. Underwriting, well, it's a blessing. It counts for about maybe 2% of our total annual needs. But it's also problematic in that we have to be really careful about FCC requirements, commercialism, all the things that you're hearing about going on with NPR and PBS. And oh, by the way, letters went out to those stations last week. We got a note from our FCC lawyer saying that if we got one of them, we should tell them. Well, so far nothing showed up, and I hope there won't be anything coming to KPFT or Pacifica, but you can never tell. We have to be prepared to weather all kinds of storms as long as the raunchy duo are running whatever it is they're running or think they're running into the ground. Folks, I can talk to you all day about the need for funding, but I think you realize that everybody needs the dollars to pay their bills. Do not give us your food money. Do not give us your electricity money. Do not give us the money that you need to survive on. But some of you, you have that marginal dollar where you can go out. If you spend 15, 20 bucks in a day, you can come home, shrug your shoulders and say, okay, tomorrow's coming, I'm all right. Well, maybe you can buy one less cup of coffee, as Egberto puts it, or one last fast food hamburger a couple times a week. And, that would easily rack up to $5 a month, maybe more. That fast food hamburger, probably not doing your waistline or your health too much good. The alternative, giving it to KPFT, is that nourishment for your mind? Possibly. Does KPFT take you away from the stress of the moment with some good music? Or maybe listening to your friends and neighbors call in, like Bruce? Well, if it does, join us, please. I suspect that many of you depend on this station, and yet can donate and don't donate. I'd sure like to talk to you as to why, I really would. Like to find out why you listen, why you can, but why you won't participate with the rest of the community. We need everyone to participate, folks, everyone that can do it. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Join as a sustainer. If you don't like these fund drives, end them. Join as a sustainer. It makes a huge difference, $5 or $10 a month. You'd be amazed. Big shout out to Larry S., who at the end of Deadbeat on Saturday came in with a huge sustaining pledge and picked up one of the 2 VIP booths at the back of the Heights Theater. One remains. It's a $2,000 contribution that will get you seating for 8 in your own little private nook at the Heights Theater for Rodney Crowell and Guy Forsyth on June 6th when we get to it. 713-526-5738 or kpft.org. Back to you, Egberto. Let's get some more folks joining Robert, Caesar, Chris, and of course, Bruce, who came in and walked in on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Folks, I have one more story. I know what I always want to do is make sure to give you a program even as we're pitching. And this is an important story. But beforehand, I want to say in the chat, Billy Allison Irwin says, I'm already a sustainer. And guess what she says? She says, my husband too. Thank you, Billy Allison Irwin, for being a sustainer. And tell your husband I give him a big thank you and give both of you a big Panamanian hug. All right? All right, let's go ahead. My daughter had an outing from her church. This is a blog that I wrote. I titled the blog over the weekend, America Will Not Wake Up on Its Own. And it's a newsletter. I sent it out in newsletter form. And by the way, you can go to politicsandright.com/newsletter and you get this at least once a day with what the program is going to be, as well as blogs for articles that I put out there as well. If you want to talk to me and slam me or do whatever you want, Give me kudos or give me none kudos. KPFT at politicsandright.com. KPFT at politicsandright.com. And I answer every single one of my emails. You can ask Brian if that's true or not. All right. My daughter had an outing. This is from the article title, the newsletter, America Will Not Wake Up on Its Own. My daughter had an outing from her church to the escape room with her young people's group. She explained that this group of young people had to escape the Titanic. They worked collaboratively and finished in record time. All these kids went to schools where critical thinking was encouraged. They also learned to defer to the specific one with a particular strength in appropriate areas. Meaning, if I don't know something and I know you know something, I feel correct to defer to you. I don't try to do everything on my own. I don't try to be a bully. You work collaboratively. They learned how to do that in the different schools that they went to. The result is they escaped in record time. My daughter seemed disappointed that it was not more difficult. I told my daughter that these activities had to be dumbed down as our plutocracy continued to engineer America's dumbing down. From the removal of civics from the curriculum to the removal of books that provide a complete rounded education to the revision of history, we continue to fall behind the rest of the world. There will be consequences if enough of us are not awakened. We fear robotics and artificial intelligence. We have allowed the system to have us deny much by believing that replacing private insurance with Medicare for all is more expensive and will cost us more or provide fewer services, when the opposite is true. We have been made to believe that basic income would create freeloaders, but it is unaffordable when studies prove otherwise. I've written about these subjects in detail, have interviewed many experts, and will continue to do so. We are living through the almost complete execution of the Powell memo. In one sentence, the Powell memo was written by a lawyer named Lewis Powell, who would subsequently become a Supreme Court justice. It advised plutocrats to infiltrate schools, churches, and the media to promote unfettered, unregulated capitalism. I am paraphrasing the lengthy document, but that is the gist of it. Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Washington Post, recently made it clear that their opinion pages will follow the indoctrinative tenets of the Powell memo with the following paragraph from the edict he sent to his staff. Every one of his staff got this message. We are going to be writing every day in support and defense of two pillars only: personal liberties and free markets. We will cover other topics too, of course, but viewpoints opposing those pillars will be left to be published by others. In other words, we are just going to indoctrinate with these two topics no matter what. If you're going to write anything else, bye-bye. To which the opinion editor of the newspaper said, bye-bye. And more should say, bye-bye. Trump and Vance's ambush of an ally, President Vladimir Zelensky, shocked the world and critically thinking Americans. They understand that this infers a policy shift with worldwide potential alliance shifting implications. It is neither in the best interest of Americans nor did Americans ask for nor want, but with a sycophancy that is scared to challenge their Führer by going directly to the people. It is our job, again, I repeat, it is our job, those of us who actually know, and I'm saying we got to do it humbly, we got to do it civilly, but we got to do it. We've got to do it. It is our job to reach Americans that will not awaken on their own. Hence my title of the blog, America will not wake up on its own, because it's proven they will not awake on their own. The mainstream media will not help as they purge prolific administration critics. The sycophants are true to form, and the Democratic leadership continues to hesitate to escalate to DEFCON 1. The reality is that it is on us, the grassroots, the informed grassroots. America will not wake up on its own. We must be the catalyst. the reason we do this show, the reasons we do this program, the reason we write these blogs, the reason we write these newsletters, these books, these things, the reasons we do that is because, yes, we are patriots. Yes, we love America. Yes, we love our fellow neighbor, irrespective of their thought process. We love them. And you don't let that which you love make mistake continuously. This is KPFT Houston, top of the hour. We're going to go another few minutes, folks. But I hope you listened to that blog in the spirit that it was written. We have a lot of work to do. Yesterday at a Houston Peace and Justice meeting, we went over, we were talking about the Palestinian issue, but we kind of bled into other topics as well. And there's a woman out there, I can't recall her name right now, but she spoke about a feeling of despair. What do we do? What do we do? And how is this happening? And I said, you know what we do? You fix despair by acting, by engaging, by talk. If you're doing something to make things better, that solves the despair problem. That solves a lot of problems. But you got to be doing and doing and doing. You got to be talking to your folks, your family that's simply making the wrong choices, your kid that's making the wrong choices. Do you ever give up on your kid? I never give up on my kid, and I hope my kid never gives up on me. You know. So what I'm saying, we have a job to do, and part of that job to do, folks, is, and I'm serious when I say this. Those of you who are listening to my voice, those of you who are congruent to our thinking, you have a lot of work you can do to actually assist. And this is not a false pitch. When I say your support of what we do here has implications, yes, you give a lot of Americans, a lot of Texans, a lot of those who listen to us all over the world, you give them some good music. You give them some good stuff that they won't get anywhere. But importantly as well, you give them programs like what we do here to inform not just you, but to that trucker that's driving through Louisiana that picks us up at the border and drives in and he says, let me listen to these damn liberals and what they have to say. You give us the opportunity to reach them. I can't tell you the amount of truckers, including one that attempted to go into business with me. I never forgot that. Hey, I have an idea. After he turned from MAGA into a pinko liberal, every time he drives through Houston, I get a call. You make a difference. Your words, your contributions, your donations make a difference. I love me my truckers. You know those roughnecks that are coming through and they think they're tough, and they're tough. Don't get me wrong, they're tough. But a lot of times they want to put on that tough thing that they believe they need to have that stance. And you talk to them and they realize, oh my God, I'm just like you. And you can make that change in people. I have changed. I've given my mea culpas here. I've given a lot of mea culpas. We all can change. Hell, if I can change, the world can change, man. Look, and that is one of the reasons I said you can make a difference not only by contributing, you can make a difference by talking to your people that's in your sphere of influence, the people that love you, the people that connected to you. You can actually do it. We are the ones who are going to make the change. It ain't coming from these empty vessels called politicians. It's coming from you who are going to fill the vessels of the politicians. It's either going to be filled with your words, with your requirements, or it's going to be filled with what the oligarchy tells them to do. I'd rather it be you. Folks, support the program, support the station. That is how we make a difference. That is one of the ways we make a difference. Give us a call, 713-526-5734. extension number 1. I'll repeat it slowly. 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or kpft.org. Again, kpft.org. Hit that donate button, then click Politics Done Right as a program you're supporting, please, so that it will be accounted correctly. I got to get the numbers so that Sandy don't kick me out of here. Got to keep them numbers up. Select Politics Done Right as a program you're supporting, and then give whatever you can. $5 a month, $10 a month, a one-time donation, a T-shirt $400, coffee with Egberto $250, or you can also say, you know what? I want to do what Egberto does, $10 a month, which is my contribution to the station. I'm going to be going to Sandy in about 30 seconds. So, folks, you can make a difference. You can make a difference not only with your voice, not only with your sharing what we do, but you can make a difference by becoming a contributor, a sustainer, a donor, whatever you can. Sandy?
Thank you, Egberto. And again, we still have the 3 folks that stepped up this morning, plus Bruce over the weekend. Robert, Caesar, Chris, thank you very much for donating this morning. We need a few more. We're still short of our goal. It doesn't feel real good when you walk away from a program and you have not made the goal on any day. You take it, anybody that sits behind the microphone takes it as a personal reflection. They should not. But you should take it as a personal reflection, because this is your station. We can't pledge for you. We can't pay for this ourselves. If we could, we'd write a check. Heck, I look in the mailbox at KPFT every day looking for that $1 million check. In the last 2 years and almost 9 months, I haven't seen it. So, we can keep looking. I hope it comes one day. But in the meantime, those people that can do $5 a month, those people that can spare $10 a month, you power the station, and we need more of you. We need you right now to join in, power this program and every program. Lots of musical thank yous. Still got the R&R cruise. We got the Politics Done Right t-shirt, or any of the station t-shirts for $100. And remember, friends, any of these premiums I'm talking about with a price tag, you can break them up into 12 payments if you'd like. So $180 sounds like much till you save $15 a month. If I asked you for $15, I see you on the street, and I bet a lot of you would go, no problem, here you go. In fact, here's a $20 bill because I don't have a 10 and a 5. A lot of you are very generous in spirit. Do what you can. Make the goal this morning on this program, and we'll just go from there. Because this is the final week of Fund Drive. 7 days left, starting this morning, and we're still, we got over 118,000, but we got 52,000 to go. 713-526-5738 or kpft.org. And thanks to everybody donating on this drive so far. 687 distinct acts of kindness have already occurred. We need a few more so we can get a little bit closer to that overall goal, perhaps even go over the goal by Sunday evening. One more time, our number, 713-526-5738. You got letters above the numbers on your rotary dial phone. That's 713-JAM, KPFT. Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Anyway, folks, look, I hope you listened to the last blog that I wrote. That is where I really pointed out that we have skin in the game. All of us do. And we can, what the administration is trying to push through that is harmful to all of us hasn't occurred yet. They're doing it very fast so that they'll catch you off guard. And by the time you realize what have hit you, there's little you can do about it. So you can do about all of this stuff now. That's why the urgency comes in. That's why we talk about making sure we can stay on air to support and provide this and this knowledge. That is why we need your support. 713-526 5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft.org, kpft.org, and select donate, Politics Done Right on the scroll box to support us, and then go ahead and donate whatever you can. Look, you own the game, folks. And notice I call it game. You own it. You are all powerful. They only do what they believe they can get away with. And this comes with any administration, Republican, Democrat, or other. Those of you listening to the show, many of you will just say, "Oh, you're just a darn Democrat." Yeah, I caucus with the Democrats right now, but that's not who I am. I am a progressive person, somebody who believes in humanity and the rights of everybody. I believe in democracy. I believe in free enterprise. I want everybody to have equal access to success, not equal outcomes, but equal access to success. You determine based on what you want to put out whether you're successful or not. But I want everybody to have that playing field where if they so choose to be successful, they are. Those are my personal beliefs. Those are many times universal beliefs. And those are the things that we promote. Chris Allen, welcome to Politics Done Right on the chat. So, folks, we're only left with about 3.5 minutes right now. So I'm going to leave these to last. The rest of the program can be found at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. If you want to drop me a line, you can drop me a line and tell me what you need to tell me at kpft at politicsdoneright.com. kpft at politicsdoneright.com. Let me jump to the studio to have both Howard and Jack give us some final thoughts.
A very interesting show. I'm saddened to the fact that they're decided to destroy Social Security. That's going to affect so many people. It's going to just be awful. Why are they doing this? Why? Because they're hurting people. Why do you get pleasure from hurting people? I don't understand this. The government is supposed to be helpful to you. The government is supposed to be in partnership with you, not destroying you. So that's my thought for the day. And Jack, what you got?
Why does Trump hate government?
Well, that would be a good question. He's going to hate it even more when they start controlling him, which will be very, very, very soon.
Well, it's
you.
Thank you very much. It is interesting, folks. We have a couple more minutes to go, and I'm going to finish this on an empowering message. Look, uh, this country, when formed, wasn't necessarily formed in the ideal manner, but a few years ago we created a documentary called "Legalizing Democracy." You can look that up. Uh, you know, uh, it's a documentary where we kind of explain the migration of America into as it achieved a true democracy, as it achieved what's important to all of us. And what you see is that we continue to grow. We either use protests, the courts, etc., to grow. We've always had setbacks. It was never a straight line upwards for progressive. Women got the right to vote after formerly enslaved men got the right to vote. Think about that. I want you to think about that. Enslaved men got the right to vote before women got the right to vote. This country was always on a constant migration to better itself. And that's where we are right now. We've taken steps backwards, and every time those backward steps were taken, it was painful. It was painful during the Red Scare. It was painful. It's been painful right now. Many people are in pain. Many people don't understand what next to do. But I'm here to tell you it's in your hands. And we do have power. We still remain powerful, but we are at a flex point, at a tipping point, because there are structures that can fail this. They're inching me out of here. So here's the deal. please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension 1, or go to kpft.org, hit the donate button, then Politics Done Right, and give whatever you can. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We now join Democracy Now! In Progress on KPFT Houston.
Demonstrated outside a Tesla dealership. Rallies also took place in front of Tesla retailers in Jacksonville, Florida, Tucson, Arizona, and other cities as protesters held signs reading messages like "No dictators in the USA." In Los Angeles, hundreds demonstrated at the SpaceX facility in Hawthorne. SpaceX has received billions of dollars in government funding and has been apparently trying to take over a $2.4 billion Federal Aviation Administration contract that had already been awarded to Verizon. Meanwhile, thousands gathered at national parks across the country to condemn the firings of at least 1,000 National Park Service workers and to defend public lands. In New York City, hundreds gathered outside the United Nations headquarters Saturday demanding